Mm. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Abroad in Japan Patreon monthly live show. Good to see you guys. Welcome this morning with Natsuki's face in my mug. Brilliant. What a wonderful start to the day. Good to see you guys. Where are you watching from this morning? What a month it has been. I've literally just, while I've been making the coffee, I've discovered that the Trash Tastes episode with Joey, Gon and Connor has been released, where they went to Ebisu Circuit. Morning. Somebody is tired, says Bogdan. Yes, I'm not. I'm actually not that tired. I was just when you have when you have a good night's sleep, and sometimes it's harder to wake up than when you've had a bad night's sleep. I was filming with Ryotaro about 4 days ago, and I had 2 hours sleep because we had to get up at like 7 o'clock in the morning to film a market. And whenever I got to get up early, I never actually sleep. My body's like, no, you're not going to sleep today. Ha ha ha. But I did have a good night's sleep. But it just means I've got to wake up harder. It means I've got to drink more coffee. So there's 2 coffees in this. It's like he's on the show, isn't it? It's like Natsuki's joining us right here. Let's see where you're joining from, though, guys. Seattle, very nice. Massachusetts, Ontario, Ottawa, Ontario. London, Sydney, Ohio. Ohio, good morning. Glasgow, Scotland. It's tired time. Oh dear. San Jose, Portland, Oregon, Winchester. Well, where's Winchester? It's kind of on the west direction of the UK, isn't it? Edmonton, Alberta, wonderful. Morning from Tokyo, per usual, says Liberty. Good to see you, Liberty. And Maryland. Fuck, I said it wrong again. Sorry, fouls are. Of course, it's Maryland, isn't it? It's not Maryland, like British people pronounce it, Maryland. Imola says, new haircut. I'm afraid not Imola. It's called the I've just woken up haircut. And I look like some sort of wacky fucking professor. It's not very good, is it? I'm actually going to get a haircut in the next week. Do you think I need a haircut? I think I need a haircut. I like to start these off with a sort of show and tell. And I haven't got much to show you this week. I've put the Game Boy in the 1950s retro style room. I mean, that's nothing new, is it? But I'm pretty happy about that. It needs to go somewhere. How early do you wake up before live shows, says Bogdan. I woke up at 7:45 this morning, so I've been up about 45 minutes now. You should see my hair. I need 2 haircuts. I feel better about myself now, Jonathan. Look at this. This is so cool. One of my favourite things about doing Journey Across Japan is we seem to get a lot of fan art, and look at that. That is so amazing. I got that on Facebook. It's a little bit bright. Let me turn the brightness down. Somebody said, a chap called Bernard sent that to me on Facebook, and it doesn't want to focus. Go on. Do it. There we go. You can see the toilet there. Natsuki's. I love the way that's one of the 4 things he chose. The Japanese style toilet, which to be fair was scarier than the Love Hotel itself. But there's that. There's the artwork which I blurred out, and then there's the Pringles, and I'm not really sure what is that. Oh, it's the ripped mattress with the girl in it. Oh God, that was awful. I think the thing that stands out is the Pringles. The Pringles look amazing. Even if they did taste fairly underwhelming and unpleasant. It's pretty cool, though. I'm going to put that out over social media later on today. And thank you to Bernard, even though he's probably not here, for drawing that. And then, the original Journey Across Japan, we got a lot of really amazing artwork, and it kind of kept me going, seeing all the artwork, seeing the kind of appreciation for the series. It can't be understated how what a motivating effect it has. Haircut of success, evidence of hard work. Absolutely, Nuri. I'll be getting that haircut. Much earned. Get Natsuki to give you a haircut live on the next Hangout, says Divya. I think the next time I see Natsuki's in about 3 weeks, and by then my hair will be beyond repair. So I need to get it cut like now. And I'm also filming another video in Tokyo next week. You might have seen this week we had a really successful video about the 20. How much was the apartment? Do you remember how much the apartment was? It was 20. I can't remember, $20,000 a month or something. The $20,000 per month apartment, right, in Harajuku. And that video did really well. Yeah, that's it, 20,000. Too early in the morning for big numbers. But it was an incredible price. Was it worth it? What were your thoughts on it? Did you think it was worth $20,000? Was it actually a good apartment? I think my thoughts were it was big, wasn't overly stylish, and in fact, the only moment walking through that apartment that I thought, shit, quite jealous about this place, was the rooftop garden, just sitting up there in the morning, kind of the morning air of Tokyo in the center of Harajuku. It was pretty cool, and yeah, I was jealous about that. I was pretty jealous. Everything else, though, I thought, nah, it's just big and expensive, but I could never fill it. Like if I lived there in that apartment, I don't know what I'd do. I'd literally just set up my entire apartment in the smallest bedroom, and then I'd just use the rest of the apartment as like a place where I could just run around or ride a bicycle, because I don't think I could fill the damn apartment apart from that small bedroom. I wasn't surprised by the price because it's in Tokyo, but you can get a bigger place in Canada for a fraction of the cost. And of course, you can get a bigger place in Japan for the fraction of the cost, as long as it's not in central Tokyo. It's all about the location. And to be fair, it is a really good location. Unless, I mean, I'm not really a big fan of Harajuku, but it looks stunning, says Daniel, but not $20,000 stunning. I don't think it was worth it, personally. You can get a lot more for that price in quieter places. The garden and the place, the only decent thing about it. And I'd rather have a small place, to be honest, says Coltsan. Yeah, I mean, I think I'd rather have a small place as well. But it did so well that we thought, well, let's go and do it again. And I don't normally like to do that. You know, when a YouTuber strikes gold and makes a video that hits 1 million views and it goes and does really well, and then they just keep doing it again. I don't like to do that. I like to keep doing interesting, refreshing, original stuff. But I thought it'd be really interesting to see some more properties. And Alex is a really cool guy with his pug, good old Scotty the pug, holding it in every shot. Where I'd like to do it again. And we found, I think, the biggest single bedroom apartment in all of Tokyo. Well, Alex found it. I'm just going to turn up and film it. So that is what we're filming next week. And that is why I'm getting a haircut, because I don't want my dreadful hair to overshadow what I imagine will be a pretty good video. And it'll probably do quite well as well. But good God, this apartment, it is insane. Alex refers to this single bedroom apartment as the Iron Man bachelor pad. And I don't know if it's bigger than the apartment we looked at, but it is only 1 bedroom, but it's gigantic. I think it's a skyscraper. It's going to be pretty interesting. Liberty says, I was pretty jealous. The whole place seems really ergonomically designed. Ergonomically, that's a big word for this time in the morning, for me anyway, to read. And it was very modern. Now I'm looking at places they have in a more proper price. A more proper price, absolutely. Chris riding around the flat like he's in The Shining. Absolutely. It was an amazing apartment, but I don't think you could have had, I don't think if you had that kind of money, the price points are probably relevant. Yeah, fair point. And I think the main people that stay in those sort of gigantic $20,000 apartments anyway are foreign dignitaries who aren't paying out their own pocket. Like I imagine it's government people that typically stay somewhere like that. The one thing I didn't like, which I forgot to mention, was the fact that it's a shared lift. So the lift, we got in the lift at one point when we were leaving the apartment, which is on the 4th floor, right? And on floors 1, 2, and 3, it's all offices. I'm not really sure what the offices are, but there's people working there. And I remember we left the apartment, got in our lift, and there was just a person standing in there like, and it was just a little bit weird and awkward. But that's the only downside, having to share a lift. But of course, it only stops, I think, if you have the key. The reason it stopped with him in the lift is because we summoned it. I'm not really sure, but that was a little bit weird. It's going to be a nice contrast, says Imola, seeing 1 bedroom. I love watching any real estate tours because I'm nosy, says Liz. Why didn't you get to be Sharla's cameraman, says Brian. Although he spelt Sharla as Shatler, which I think is my I think it's my new favourite way to refer to Sharla, Shatler. Sharla's weird. She likes to film her own videos with a stick. I did offer, but she loves that stick. So I'm nothing against the selfie stick when it comes to Shatler and her camera. The pug stole the show, says Anime Kitty. It did steal the show by snoring during the fucking show. The damn dog. It was quite cute, to be fair. I'm not really a pug person. My sister has a pug, and it took me about 3 years to decide that it wasn't an awful, dreadful, annoying thing. Scotty was kind of fun. He just ran around and snored, so That was interesting. I'm happy with my new $60,000 a yen apartment a month, says Ask a Gaijin. 3 times bigger than my previous one, but the same price. Fuck Leo Palace. Fucking Leo Palace. Dodgy apartment company. Yeah, I mean, you can get a nice apartment for 60,000 yen a month. My first apartment, the one for the first 3 years abroad in Japan, was just about 10,000 yen a month, right? Because it was like subsidized by the teaching board. But the thing is about the JET program and any teaching program in Japan, you don't really get to choose your apartment. And that can be both good and bad. Like some people I knew had massive kind of American style houses with 4 bedrooms and basements and excitement. And some people had like 1 room. And I think I got one of the smallest apartments that I'd seen, but at least the price was reasonable, about 10,000 yen. It felt worth about 10,000 yen. But a friend or a fellow colleague, right, a Canadian girl that came over in the first year, she got put on the other side of town in Sakata, in Yamagata, and her apartment was about 80,000 yen a month. And it was big. It was like 2 floors. It was really quite nice. But she was really resentful about that. And she left after 1 year, I think, because a lot of people have this idea about coming to Japan to teach, save money, go back, pay off your student loans and do something. And I think she wanted to try and save up some money, but she couldn't do that because her apartment was 80,000 yen a month, which is quite a lot. So it ate up all her savings. And she left after 1 year, unfortunately. How come the apartment was on the 4th floor, says Imola. I thought there was no 4th floor in Japan. That is correct, because, of course, 4 is she, which means death in Japanese. So a bit spiritual about that. 4 meaning death. So they often leave the 4th floor out. I don't know. Maybe it's a bit of a curse, isn't it? It's a bit of an omen. It's a bit of an omen for people living in that apartment when it does eventually get bought. Did the elevator go directly into the apartment or into the hallway before the apartment, says Peachy. It stopped just before the front door to the apartment. So luckily it didn't go into the apartment itself. There was still a front door there, the big kind of really thick wooden door. For $20,000 a month, I expect someone operating the elevator for me, says Down Pride. Why not? Would be a bit awkward though, someone just standing in the elevator the whole time. 80,000 yen. Yes, sorry, the apartment I was talking about was 80,000 yen, which is about $800 a month. So pretty pricey. I suppose foreign diplomats won't care about being on the 4th floor, says Rob. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure they don't care about death. They're too busy getting drunk and having nice meetings and things. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing that with Alex, and that's my next trip to Tokyo. In between, of course, editing Journey Across Japan. Now, how was the first episode? Did you enjoy our episode with the abandoned quarry, the forgotten love hotel, and the fish and chip Pringles? Personal down point on the episode. Also, it's important to point out, it wasn't the whole meeting Natsuki late thing wasn't staged. We were 2 hours late. What I didn't show in the video, and which you'll see in the Patreon behind the scenes, is we did actually start filming a short film, because the challenge was to make a horror film trailer or to make a horror film or something. And so we had to kind of try and film something, and the quarry was perfect for that. But when I went to cut the video and edit it, the Love Hotel was so damn scary that I thought, well, anything we filmed at Love Hotel, anything we filmed at the quarry is crap compared to this. So I just kind of removed it all. But in the Patreon behind the scenes, I'll release some of the behind the scenes footage from the ridiculous and very shit kind of horror film we attempted to film. Let's see what your thoughts are on the first episode. My heart was pounding, says Catherine. I know, Catherine, that's how I feel about seeing Natsuki as well. It was pretty great. I'd love to have checked out the quarry myself. Not sure I would have gone in the Love Hotel, says Styler. Yeah, with the Love Hotel, part of me was like, we shouldn't go in the Love Hotel. We should just sort of look at it from the outside. But I'm glad we went in. And to be fair, though I suppose you could argue that it was going into somebody else's property, but I think it's been there like 20 years, and it has been, so many people have gone in it by the sounds of things. And certainly when we were going through the Love Hotel, if you look as well in the video, you can see like recent beer cans, there's cigarettes there, there's it looks like someone has actually tried to sleep there as well. in the storage room, the last room with the horrible drawing. There was like cardboard on the floor, as if somebody had kind of slept there. It was really quite scary though. Like, I wasn't exaggerating. I was quite scared editing the video back, because when you're filming a video, you're often not really looking around too much, right? You're trying to hold the camera, and when you go to edit it afterwards, you can sort of look into dark rooms and into ventilation shafts, into the darkness, and you worry, am I going to see something? And apparently, after finishing, when we released the video, there was lots of comments saying that place is really haunted. Somebody died there. They were murdered and raped and all this stuff, which I didn't know about. We didn't know about. Might have been more reluctant to go in if I knew that in advance. But yeah, apparently it's really haunted. So that scared me. I'm glad I didn't know that beforehand, because that could have prevented us from going in. Regarding you talking about your fear of getting charged for trespassing, it seems like you said a lot of precautionary things. Was the Love Hotel carefully planned for that reason? Well, no, it wasn't really carefully planned. We had a tip-off about the Love Hotel, and I'd heard about it years before. Like, I'd read about it online, then forgot about it. And actually, a lot of photographers go there and get photos of it. But I didn't know the exact location until I got a tip-off through somebody on Patreon, actually. And we had no expectations that we were going to get in there. So when I filmed the first episode of Journey Across Japan, I just made the assumption that we weren't going to go in there. And I sort of said, you know what, we'll have dinner. Actually, that's an interesting point. That the structure of the video was a little bit of a lie. We did actually check into the traditional inn, the ryokan in Nagano. We got there, parked the car, had a bit of dinner, and then we kind of took a vote on whether we should go to the Love Hotel or not, because it was about a 45-minute drive out into the mountains. And everybody was like, yeah, let's go. And I was like, oh God, let's go then. And we drove off, got there, and I thought, fucking hell, do we really want to go in this place? But there was no door or anything stopping you from going in. The whole place was thoroughly open. You could just walk in straight off the street, up the stairs, and you're into that kind of haunted corridor. And if you look at the video, we literally just go in some stairs, and then that's it. There's the corridor, and all the rooms were there. So it didn't really feel like trespassing. And the fact that so many people have gone there didn't feel like trespassing, even though I guess it technically was. But I do genuinely think the place has been forgotten. I think whoever owned it has passed away, and it's just been left there. As I've talked about in the past, haikyo, or abandoned buildings in Japan, they're just left there for years, right? And the owners, often for the person that's built it, the owner, it's more expensive for them to like get permission to destroy it and take it down. So presumably the person that owns that place, maybe they passed away or something, just thought, there, I'll leave it. So yeah, I don't know. When's the behind the scenes coming out for the first episode, says Sean? It's either coming out today or tomorrow. I've just got to edit it quickly. There's not that much left to do to edit it, but yeah, there's quite a lot of interesting stuff from the first episode though that we had to cut, unfortunately. I mean, it was already 22 minutes long, and my rule of thumb is to try and keep videos below 20 minutes because more people watch it. But I thought there's just so much cool stuff, like the quarry, like the Love Hotel, like Natsuki and the Pringles, that I wanted to make it a bit longer. I stopped watching the Love Hotel scene, says Ryori. I thought you were going to find someone dead. I thought we might as well. That's why I made Natsuki go first. Let Natsuki take the rap. Let Natsuki be the human shield at the front. It's my philosophy. You amped up the cinematic quality, says Eels. The trick for any horror movie or any horror film or anything is just having a good soundtrack. And if you watch the video over, I did spend a lot of time like working on the sound design and making it kind of eerie. And I feel like it doesn't. I don't feel like it's lying or exaggerating to use horror music, because I feel that it captures how we felt when we were there. Right, every time we went into a room, like the second room where there's or the third room where Natsuki says, "Oh, there's no smell in this room," and he opens the door, and there's a terrifying drawing on the wall. It's like which I had to pixel out because I didn't know if I was going to get the video banned or not. Like I used some kind of scary music there to capture the discovery of that drawing, right? And obviously, while it was silent while we were filming, I felt by adding in the soundtrack, it kind of captures in our shock and surprise as we discover those things. So hopefully it kind of felt like you were there, and that made it feel creepier. How did Joey and Natsuki get along, says Jade? That's a good question. They actually got along really well, because obviously Joey, half Japanese, he speaks fluently. They can communicate in Japanese, right? And often when I have a person along with Natsuki, often they don't speak Japanese, and so they can't communicate as well. But no, they had a great dynamic. And if you watch Joey's video, Joey did release a video on his channel, the Anime Man channel. They got on really well, and that was great. And it was the perfect team of three, the perfect trio. The Dev Knights says, was the red light on in the building something Norm rigged up at the end, or genuinely a disturbing experience? Yeah, that wasn't us. There was actually some sort of weird red light. If you look at the end of the video, we looked through the window and there's some sort of red light, and we weren't really sure what it was, but that was nothing to do with us. So scary building. For what it's worth, says Jonathan, I'm glad you guys went in. It was so creepy and fascinating at the same time. And I was shitting myself for you, says Sophie. Absolutely. And Onyx says, Chris, you should check the Abroad Japan channel videos. Someone found some history on the hotel. Nice. Elaine says, was it as bad smelling as it looked? You know what? I don't really remember what the smell was. It kind of smelled musty. And as we walked in, there was loads of like fuzzy, horrible material on the floor. And I thought it was like asbestos or something, which was probably the most scary thing. The idea of going into this rundown building filled with asbestos. And asbestos, I think it's quite common in Japan, or it was. So that was thoroughly unpleasant. But that's why we wore the masks, to try and help. But my favorite moment in the video was I sort of say, is that asbestos? And Natsuki says, what? Trash asbestos? Trash asbestos. It's my new favourite word. And I was going to do hashtag trash asbestos, but I just love the way Natsuki also misheard something else I said, and thought I said, I think Joey said, I'm glad we found nobody in here. That would have been really scary. And Natsuki went, what? Bon Jovi? And started singing Shot Through the Heart, You Give Love a Bad Name by Bon Jovi. And it made it into Joey's video, but not mine, because it was just so disorientating and hilarious that kind of took away from the creepiness of it all. But I'll put that in the behind the scenes as well. It's just so surreal. Natsuki singing Bon Jovi in the bloody hotel. The video was great, but I was looking for a more dramatic horror film. Glad to hear there'll be a horror follow, more creepy sound effects, music and jump effects. I mean, a more dramatic horror film? How does it get more dramatic than that? Have to get Norm with a bloody hockey mask and a knife running around somewhere next time. To be honest, your video was better than Joey's in terms of editing. Yours felt natural, whereas Joey's edits felt kind of forced and broke the engagement. I mean, yeah, Joey's videos are aimed at a different audience, I think, whereas I think his video was edited more for like a YouTube, kind of standard YouTube audience, and mine was aimed more at TV audience, and they're both quite different. Both very different vibes. Although I was surprised that Joey's video had no horror music. I thought it was a missed chance to make it a bit more scary. Would you ever consider making regular short videos and extended versions? Says Peachy. Not really. I guess I always try and make the video as good as I can and then release it. You know, I think that's always the best way. And I mean, I could have made the video like 30 minutes, but it would have kind of been not as interesting. The main thing with a good video is keeping the pacing, right? You've got to keep the pacing up. You've got to keep people watching. You've got to keep people excited and tuned in for the next thing. That's the miracle of trash asbestos. Get people watching. Trash asbestos. And as Elaine says, I am pumpkin. I was gutted I didn't have that in, but Natsuki filmed in Joey's version. There was a clip of Natsuki saying, I am pumpkin, because Natsuki has quite a round face that looks like a pumpkin, I guess. And I like that, but I couldn't put it in because it was Joey's video. You still want to be Zelda, though, says Tai Tai. Oh, my God. One off-the-cuff remark about being Zelda. I wasn't thinking. Of course, I know who Link is. I do like Zelda. I should just cut that out. If you look at the video comments on the video, though, most comments are, oh, he said Zelda instead of Link. Ha, 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 ha. And it's, oh, God. I've spent all this time filming and editing this video, all this horror. all this Pringles, all this trash asbestos, and the only thing people care about is the fact I said Link instead. The fact I said Zelda instead of Link. God damn it! Or nightmare. I should. YouTube has a function where you can go and cut sections out. I might go and cut that out so that doesn't come up again ever. Rewrite history like a communist dictator. Get rid of the Zelda comment. Natsuki was super into the Love Hotel. His improved quality is excellent. A natural comic. You know what? What surprised me about Natsuki is how he sort of charged into the Love Hotel. He was the first. He was quite up for it. Even if he did have that really kind of unpleasant jump scare with the bat. And there was genuinely some bats in there, but they all seemed to leave when we got in there. They all sort of took off. But after that incident and his nervous laughing, he was dived straight in. He loved it. It was weird seeing Natsuki mad. He's normally so goofy, says Brian. Yeah, and he was, as I said, he was genuinely angry. We were 2 hours late because of the stuff we filmed. And but it made for a great scene. Natsuki being angry, Natsuki getting the Pringles. And in the next episode of Journey Across Japan, we did actually poison Natsuki with some sort of horrible dish, bee larvae, which is just so horrible. The challenge in the second episode was to find an unpleasant local dish, and the dish was certainly unpleasant. Bee larvae. I didn't think anyone would ever eat that, but it was horrible. We sold it at this shop, and something in my damn eye. We found this bee larvae at this shop, and it was in this little bottle, and it looks fucking horrible. And the woman selling it was like, "Oh yeah, we don't eat that. It's horrible." And when the person selling you the food thinks it's bad, that's never a good sign anyway. But yeah, poor old Natsuki. He had a pretty rough 2 days, getting scared by bats and eating bloody bees. We don't let you get away with anything, says Liberty. Bloody Zelda. Norm's scary tunnel, says Elaine. Not a euphemism. It was good too. Yeah, I've yet to see Norm's video. Norm Tokyo Lens just released a video a few hours ago about a haunted tunnel. Seems everybody's getting in on the Halloween action, apart from Trash Taste, who chose to do drifting instead of something scary. Thank you to Norm for coming, though. We're very lucky to get Norm on board for Journey Across Japan. I knew we needed a cameraman. So, of course, it's myself and Joey presenting, Natsuki for a few days, and then Ian and Norm. I feel like we needed Ian just to make it feel like Journey Across Japan. Ian was the secret weapon to making the original Journey Across Japan happen. He was like the coordinator for the project. And he was amazing in the first series. I'd wake up at like 7 a.m, dead, get on my bike, and Ian would always be there with like my morning coffee, rushing over, and he kind of helped me just produce the entire first series. And it was really great to get him back as well. And Norm was a great addition. He's a great cameraman. Though I made sure with Journey Across Japan to still film a lot of it myself, to give it that more personal feel. Like it's, if you have a cameraman along, it can put some distance between you and the viewer, right? I feel like it's a fine balancing act. And for the Love Hotel, if I'd given the camera to Norm and Norm had followed the three of us, I just don't think it would have been as scary. I think it is scarier having that kind of first person perspective with the commentary while I'm holding the camera. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? But Norm was certainly great to have on board. How are you finding the editing this time around, says Imola. I'm finding it a lot easier because I'm not editing and filming at the same time. It's a bloody good move to film things and then film everything, put all my effort into filming, and then put all my effort into editing afterwards. It's going a lot better. And I think the production quality really showed on the first episode as well. Ryotaro tries to kill Chris. Chris tries to kill Natsuki, and the circle continues, says Dowd Pride. The circle of murder, as I call it. The circle of trash asbestos. Is Halloween big in Japan, says Jade? Not this year, obviously, but normally. Halloween is very big in Japan, typically. They used to have these really big parties. I say used to as if it's a historic event. Only like up until 2 years ago in Shibuya, every year, Halloween, everybody would like descend upon the city. Everybody would dress up. One of the coolest places to be in the world. And in fact, Pete Donaldson from the podcast, he would always come over like every October for Halloween just because he loved it so much. But about 2 years ago, lots of people got really drunk, as they do at Halloween in Japan, and they flipped over a van. Some people just flipped over a truck, and that ruined everything because everybody was like, "Oh, they get too drunk, no more fun, no more fun's allowed now," and they banned drinking, I think, in Shibuya, which kind of killed, I think, Halloween overnight. And yeah, it's been a bit of a downer since then. I did go to Tokyo. I did kind of get involved in Halloween once. And as I've talked about before, I dressed up as this candy man. I got some candy and stuck it to myself. It was pretty lackluster in hindsight, but the atmosphere was pretty intense though. Tokyo at Halloween, so busy, so many people dressed up. The cosplay, the costumes are incredible, as you'd expect, and yeah, it was really quite cool. It's a shame that it probably won't be like that again. At least, certainly not for another few years now. Top Gear for weebs equals trash taste, says Elaine. It was good, their episode. I've yet to watch the whole Trash Taste episode, but it looked pretty damn good. I think we all put a lot of effort in. They put a lot of effort into driving. I put a lot of effort into the drone shots. If you watch the Trash Taste Drift episode, I had so much fun doing the drone. I tried to crash it into their car a few times, but I was so good at flying the drone. The one time I wanted to crash the drone, I didn't crash it at all. Unlike previous attempts of flying the drone where it crashes when I don't want it to crash. Would we see a Ryotaro cameo in any of the future episodes, says Sean? We will not, at least not in the next 5 episodes. I did think about having like another guest on Journey Across Japan. Who would you bring? Who would you have brought on Journey Across Japan? Because Natsuki was actually a last-minute decision. It was only like 2 weeks before. I thought, wait a minute, we need to get Natsuki in here, like the original series, have him in for a little bit and kick things off in a good way, get off to a strong kind of start. And it was really difficult to encourage Natsuki to come down. I think, it's always hard to pull Natsuki away from his job. And I had to like bribe him with presents and cigarettes, but we eventually got him. And as you can see, it was completely worth it because I think having Natsuki really added a fun dimension to it. But he does go after the second episode, sadly, and it's just Joey and I. But I still think it's worth watching. I think it's pretty damn good after that. We had some pretty awesome stuff in the 2 or 3 days after. Unfortunately, Joey and Natsuki, Dr. Jelly and Natsuki never got to meet. We were going to originally have Natsuki in the Dr. Jelly commercial, but it didn't work out. We didn't have time to do that. We wanted to poison Natsuki instead with bees. So. Oh, and Jonathan says, and Natsuki tried to kill Ryotaro with a plastic sword but failed. Yeah, that is a full circle, isn't it? Ryotaro tries to kill me. I tried to kill Natsuki. Natsuki tries to kill Ryotaro but fails, and hence the circle of life continues. How have you thought about filming in the Ghibli Museum, says Brian. I have not, Brian. I feel like I couldn't really do it justice, or I don't think it'd be interesting for me to do it. Someone who's really into anime, I think, would benefit from that. Pete, Ryotaro, Sharla, they'd all be good on Journey Across Japan. Yeah, I think they were all good on the original series, to be honest. Emma, I think should be fun, says Patricia. Yes, that would be good. I still feel bad for writing Emma out of the original series, so could get her on board. You should get the woman who gave you cookies, says Bogdan. Yes, Cookie Lady. Let's go to Niigata and stand in a field and wait for her to appear. Tap your shoes together 3 times and stand in a field, and she will appear with the promise of cookies and a coal. I'd love to see Emma. You guys have a great bickering chemistry, says Imola. Yeah, I mean, Emma and I get on really well. It would have been cool to have her on board. What's the best cultural Japanese movie or show, in your opinion? I'm looking for some things to watch that will teach me about the culture. Good God, that's a tough question. Any ideas? Tokyo, is it Tokyo? No, Midnight Diner. Watch Midnight Diner on Netflix. It's just a guy who owns a restaurant, and people come in at midnight and they eat things. And that's a really crap synopsis of Midnight Diner. But it's quite a cool show. Not a lot happens, but it's quite therapeutic in a meditative kind of way. Midnight Diner, it's quite good. Although I watched a few episodes of the show and I found it a little bit ridiculous. This guy, Midnight Diner, it's set in Shinjuku, and he opens up at midnight, and people that have been out drinking or gone to hostess bars and things sort of come in a little bit drunk, a little bit hungover, order things, and the guy cooks it. And the idea is you can order anything in this diner, and the guy will cook it, right? He'll cook it if he's got it. But they always request like really boring, mediocre things. Like the guy comes in and he's like, "Oh, I'm really hungry. Can I have a bowl of chicken rice?" And the guy's like, "Can you cook that?" And he's like, "Yes, I can cook chicken rice." And he just pan fries a chicken, sticks it on some rice. He's like, "There you go." And it's like, bloody hell, I could run the fucking midnight diner. I could fucking cook a chicken on some. Well, I don't know if I could actually. No, I don't think I could. But point is, very simple dishes, and I always find that ridiculous. He's this amazing chef that can cook anything, but he just cooks a bowl of rice. Ridiculous. But yeah, watch that Midnight Diner. If I was running the midnight dinner, if I was running the midnight diner, it would just be a plate of Family Mart chicken. I'd just run off round the back to the convenience store, buy some crappy yakitori or some stuff from Family Mart, stick it in a plate, and be like, "Oh, there you go. I've cooked this original fried chicken dish from America." I'm seeing Midnight Diner and Midnight Diner Tokyo Stories. Which one should I watch? Says Jade. I think they're the same thing. Prove me wrong. Chris, you can only cook microwave dinners. How dare you? How dare you? I don't even know how to use the microwave, to be honest. I don't know how to use it. I think, as we've established in previous episodes, I don't think Japanese TV will teach anyone anything, says Riori. No, I don't think so either. Liberty says, slice of life is one of my favourite types of anime, so any good slice of life anime is something to get a slice of Japanese life. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I keep seeing people react to Abroad Japan, by the way, this month. Somebody keeps every day I get a link from somebody who says somebody's reacted to an Abroad Japan episode. By my count, there are 4 reaction videos this month alone. It seems somebody's discovered that reacting to Abroad Japan videos equals views, and it's been a little bit. There's that Japanese man Yuta. He did an all right video. He talked about my video about Japanese TV, which is why I think, as you mentioned Japanese TV, it reminded me. He's reacted to Japanese TV. Somebody reacted to 12 Things Not to Do in Japan, a guy called George. I saw there was one channel. Well, I saw there was one channel that said there seems to be a Japanese guy riffing on you a bit, but I didn't watch it. That's never good. I don't mind these reaction videos. It's interesting how like one person does it. It does really well. I think the guy George, who did the original one, start of the month, it got like 1 million views, and I think everybody decided that would be a good idea to do that. Everybody started reacting. You're in a Patreon live stream where everybody starts telling Chris to cook. I'm not going to cook. I think we've established I'd burn down my house. But yeah, reaction videos. Everybody seems to be getting in on it at the moment. I thought about doing a reaction video to the people reacting to me, to the Abroad Japan channel, kind of a full circle reaction. Do you get any of the AdSense revenue for those reaction videos? Says Tivia. No, unfortunately not. I get nothing apart from like 5 extra views. When somebody does a reaction video, you don't really get anything. You get like 2 extra views. So it's never that much. You don't really get much out of it. To be fair, I don't mind. As long as they're respectful and nice, it's completely fine with me. I think you can actually take down the videos. I'm not really sure what the rules are around it. YouTube has this tool where it can detect your videos being stolen and put into somebody else's video, and then you can request for it to be taken down. But I wouldn't do that. I mean, they're all nice people that have done it. But that's your content, says Divya. It is my content. But luckily, they're not taking the whole video and uploading it, right? They're taking like little bits of it. I don't mind that. The worst kind of copyright theft, the worst kind of theft that I've seen was the Spanish guy who copied my video word for word and reshot it exactly scene for scene as I'd filmed the video, because that just felt like plagiarism, and it really annoyed me. I talked about that on a Patreon episode about a year ago. And I'll have to dig up that video because it was fascinating and ridiculous and terrifying, seeing how this guy had taken my script, translated it into Spanish, and then reenacted it and then done it. I saw that video a month ago, says Jonathan. It was really quite cringy. It was cringy, but it was just creepy, isn't it? Just this idea that someone's just thought they could get away with taking your video, scripting it to Spanish, and reenacting it. I wouldn't have minded. I wouldn't have cared if it was something he'd had an original perspective. But he also used the same music. He even did take some of my footage. He stole some of my footage because the joke that he stole from me couldn't work without my footage. So he had to steal it. But after I called him out on Twitter, he got a lot of people sort of attacking the video and sort of saying, you need to stop doing this. This is weird. And he hasn't done it since. So far as I know, I haven't been back. Nobody escapes the watchful eye of the abroad in Japan community. They don't. They absolutely don't, Jonathan. And somebody did. The way I found out was somebody messaged me on Facebook and sort of said, "Hey, Chris, have you seen this guy's stolen your video?" And a shot-for-shot remake does seem like a lot of work and weird for sure, says Peter. I think that's the thing, though, isn't it? It takes effort to translate a video into Spanish and reenact it, let alone abroad Japan videos. But if you're going to spend that much time plagiarizing somebody's video, you can do it in an interesting way. You can do it better, but apparently not. Bloody hell, weirdo, wasn't it? That guy's definitely not the first, says Bogdan. I know there is an anime guy, Mother's Basement, and he has had lots of his videos remade the same way. Apparently it's a normal thing in Brazil. Weird, very weird. Do you think that Journey Across Japan 2 could be followed as part of a vacation idea? Is it possible to do by train, says Onyx? That's a good question. Yeah, I think it actually is possible to do by train. And all the locations we kind of worked out in advance are all pretty mainstream locations, like Yudanaka Hot Springs. What we didn't say is the reason we went to Yudanaka Hot Springs is because at the start of episode 2, we wanted to see the monkeys, right? You remember the snow monkeys at Jigokudani Valley in Nagano, the really famous monkey park where they sit in the hot springs and lay around. We wanted to go there and film it, and that was kind of the closest place to it. But all the places we visited are pretty easy to get to. Not so sure about the Quarry or the Love Hotel, but then realistically, are you going to want to go there anyway? Probably not. But everywhere else after that in the trip are places that are easy to get to. I think certainly if you have a car, it will be a lot easier. But of course, on the Abroad in Japan website, they'll all be on the map, so you can check out where they are afterwards. Though I'm not going to publicly announce where the Love Hotel is, because it is trespassing technically, and I don't want to kind of get loads of people going and causing problems, and then being like, "Oh, it was Abroad in Japan. It was Joey. They showed it." I don't think that'd be fun. I think that'd be awful. Liberty says, I went to Yudanaka Hot Springs. It was very accessible by train normally, plus local shuttles. Absolutely. Can't go to a place full of monkeys without Pete, says Eels. Pete and the monkeys was a highlight. Yes, Pete will be very sad that we not only went to some abandoned places without him, because he loves abandoned places, but we also saw the monkeys. Actually, or did we see the monkeys? Don't think we did. Yes, actually. Yeah, the second episode gets rather sad and angry very quickly. We trekked up into the mountains. Spoilers. We trekked up into the mountains to see the monkeys, and it didn't really go according to plan, as you'll discover. And it wasn't good. It's very annoying. Somebody added the Love Hotel on Google Maps already, and even put a review saying where they found it. Brilliant. Well, we're fucked now, aren't we? God damn it! Why would somebody do that? That's so annoying. I'll have to try and message them and tell them to take it down, but I'm sure it'll be fine. And maybe someone will bulldoze it now that it's got so much interest. It'll probably be gone by the end of the year. Chris, on the technical side of things, the poor GH5 has been completely destroyed by the Lumix S1H. I wonder what the good old trusty Canon 70D is up to after all these years. I don't know where my Canon 70D is. I think I left it in the UK last time I was there. If you look at the recent videos and Journey Across Japan, we did shoot it in 6K with the S1H. And holy shit, the footage quality is so good. We did use the GH5 for a little bit of footage in the Quarry, but after the Love Hotel, I realised that the S1H blew everything out of the water. But that's why the footage has this kind of real cinematic quality to it. And all of Journey Across Japan has this really nice kind of cinematic quality, and it looks amazing. So S1H, amazing camera, beautiful stuff. Yuta has a video where he reacts to Joey speaking Japanese too. The thumbnail doesn't look very positive. Oh dear. Poor old Joey. Yeah. We're on the case, says Onyx. Yes, get on the case, Onyx. Get the people that put the thing on Google Maps to take it down. How's Japan with the virus right now, says Average Omar. I hear a lot of places are going back into shutdown. Japan is fine because people are wearing face masks everywhere. And no, the number of cases in Japan seems to be very kind of stable at the moment, which is good. But of course, going into winter, we'll have to see, won't we? It is strange how all the cases are going up everywhere except Japan. I do think it is due to the wide adoption of face masks. I think people are still a little bit wary of going out, but mainly it's to do with the masks and people washing their hands. I'm not really sure. I think just people take hygiene more seriously in Japan because of previous previous outbreaks and whatnot, like SARS back in 2002. People still have that kind of in their minds. That reminds me, says Jonathan, what do you think about the plan by the government to open up for tourism in April? A few of us are still holding out, hoping it will work out. I think I wouldn't be surprised if it gets pushed back after April. Remains to be seen. What I do know is Japan is stopping the 2-week quarantine for residents of the country. So right now, if I were to go to the UK and come back, I would need to quarantine for 2 weeks, probably at a hotel near Narita Airport, God forbid, because the hotels around Narita Airport, they're not cheap and they're not fun to stay in. But Japan's dropping that rule, which is I think is a good thing. But you still have to be tested before you come into Japan anyway. You have to prove you don't have it. You don't have the virus. But April, yeah, I don't know. I guess it will all depend on how things go. Maybe they'll roll out the vaccine in January and it'll be magic and the whole thing will be gone away. But I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of postponed it. I think they'll do it on a country by country basis. Like I think like New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, various countries in Asia, they'll allow travel before they allow Europe and the US. So we'll have to see. But the UK and the US, they've not handled this well. And if any countries are last on the list to be allowed in, it'll be those two countries, I imagine. And of course, I'm not going back to the UK this year because of that. I don't want to cause problems. Just the stress, I think, of traveling overseas at the moment would be unimaginable. I already hate flying, as I've talked about in the past. And the idea of having like flying somewhere and risking getting a virus and spreading it to my family and friends is just unable. I couldn't bear it, to be honest. So, but swings and roundabouts. I get to stay in Japan and have a KFC Christmas dinner. Yeah, and I get to see Natsuki. So I guess that makes up for it. Obviously, it's a little bit disappointing. Christmas is my favourite time of year, and I do love to go back to the UK, sit in a pub, mulled wine, Christmas dinner. In Japan, Christmas just feels a little bit artificial because you've got the music playing, you've got the decorations out, but just feels a bit soulless. And people don't get that excited about it because people still work over Christmas. And famously, in my first year here, I did work on Christmas Day. It was really quite shit. I was the only one daft enough to go into work. In Japan, when I was working at the school, you had to take holiday leave on Christmas Day, and I was defiant. I wasn't going to use my vacation. I wasn't going to use my 5 minutes of holiday leave that you get annually on Christmas Day. I wanted to save that for something else, so I had to go into work. Everyone else had taken their holiday leave, and I looked like an idiot, just sort of sat there at my desk in this big staff room that's usually filled with 120 people. I think it was me and like 3 other teachers. And I just sort of sat there, ate this bento, and just thought, what the fuck? Why have I come to Japan? I then got a haircut. I walked for a little bit, got a haircut. I think I had McDonald's, and then I fell over in some snow because it was really heavy snow. And I remember just falling over and thinking, this is the shittest Christmas. This is the shittest Christmas ever. A crap haircut, crap lunch, falling over in the snow. Oh, that first Christmas. And the second Christmas wasn't much better. So after that, I vowed never, ever to be in Japan for Christmas again. And in the last 8 years, of the 8 Christmases I've been in Japan, I think it's 8, only 2 of them have actually been in Japan. The rest, I've gone back to the UK or something. So I learned from that. I learned big time. I heard the UK may go back into lockdown again, says Blobby. Yeah, probably will, by the looks of things. That's never overly good. Did you order your KFC dinner yet? Says Liz. I have not ordered the KFC dinner yet, but we're going to have to get on it quickly. I remember when we did order it in the second year, I was a little bit late to it, and all the best ones were sold out. Like the premium KFC Christmas dinner, completely sold out like a month beforehand. So we got like the peasant KFC Christmas set, which was still $70. I think the premium set was like $100 for some microwave chicken. It's pretty dire. It's pretty dire, to be honest. You should do a live show for Christmas, says Average Omer. I would think about doing some sort of live Christmas show with Natsuki, maybe like a few days before Christmas. We'll just sit, eat some food, have some hats on, pull a cracker, do a live show. I think it could be kind of fun. Get in the Christmas spirit with Natsuki. And the only thing I will say about Japan at Christmas, the only good thing is there is a lot of snow, so it kind of feels Christmassy. In the UK, snow isn't a thing anymore. It disappeared like 10 years ago. So it's kind of nice to have the snow, but other than that, it's not overly great. No mulled wine. For God's sake, why is Japan not have mulled wine yet? Simplest of things. Japan is safer than the UK right now. Best to stay in Japan for now. Absolutely. Absolutely. What is the premium set like at KFC, says Eels? It is, I don't even remember why I didn't get it. It looked amazing. It looked like, I think it was just like an extra piece of chicken, and it was marinated in wine. It's really ridiculous. You get a box, and in the box you get the chicken wrapped in like plastic with the marinade all around it, and you stick it in the microwave 3 minutes, pull it out, and it's job done. There's the chicken, and you get the good old chicken drumsticks and the popcorn chicken as well. So it's just a bit weird, but at least the design looks kind of cool. If you look at the video, that's a good video. I like that video. If you look at the KFC video I made, the chicken comes in this nice KFC box with all this nice decoration. It was kind of cool. It was really good. I'm thinking of doing another video as well. Live show aside, I'm thinking of doing another KFC Christmas video because it has been 7 years now. And though I don't like to repeat content, I think once every 7 years it's all right to do something again. But now I've got a good camera. I can do it 6K KFC Christmas dinner, give the people what they want, and eat it with Natsuki, because I don't think Natsuki's ever had it either. So I think it could be kind of fun getting Natsuki to react and experience this decadent, delicious KFC Christmas meal together. And I think it came with a Christmas pudding. Can't remember. Need to go back and watch the video. Why not go out somewhere nice for Christmas dinner with Natsuki and some other people? Wow, who needs to go out and have fun when you've got a KFC Christmas dinner? That's what I'm saying. Brussels sprout flavoured coolish. Also, regarding the mulled wine, you might not be able to buy it, but you could make it. You could make it. Says Dowd Pride. I think we've established my cooking is not of this earth. It's not good. Ends up tasting like trash asbestos when I get involved in the kitchen. So can't say I'm overly enthusiastic. I'll probably burn the house down with mulled wine. It could be the most disastrous mulled wine preparation in history. Another camera question. Did you shoot in 4K with the GH5 or not because of your laptop? Yeah, I shot in 4K. I've shot every single Abroad in Japan video in 4K for the last 3 years now. It's just I haven't had a computer powerful enough to render it into 4K. So just like how people can restore cinema, they can restore movies, right, from the 70s, 80s, 90s. They restore films. We've something like Empire Strikes Back. You watch it on VHS, but they've actually restored it into 4K with the original film reels. I could technically go back and restore all of the Abroad in Japan videos into 4K. A lot of effort, probably won't do that, but the 4K original footage is there. But it's just I haven't had a powerful computer until now. Like trying to film and edit a 4K video on a MacBook, it really doesn't work well. It just doesn't work. So having the nice big iMac, which I only bought 2 or 3 months ago, it's changed the game. Like technically, I could produce the Abroad in Japan, Journey Across Japan series in 6K, but that's just greedy, isn't it? I don't think the world's ready for 6K. But I could do it. Could do it. Tempting. 6K Journey Across Japan. Maybe the next series, the next Journey Across Japan series, that'll be in 6K. The question is, though, should we do another Journey Across Japan next year? And where should we do it? A lot of people have been telling me they want me to go to Hokkaido, which I think could be cool. Hokkaido is certainly an interesting winter destination. It would be quite treacherous and thus good. I don't know. I have to think about that one. I have to get out there and do some more videos before Trash Taste goes there. I'd love to go to Hokkaido. Kyushu could be good. Haven't really explored Kyushu, and that is somewhere that's kind of been on my hit list for years, right? And on Journey Across Japan, the original series, it all went to shit when we got to Kyushu because I got quite sick and I couldn't film stuff. So Shikoku, Kyushu, that could be kind of cool. Sophie says Shikoku would be good. But I feel Tokyo Lens Norm covered Shikoku recently, so I'm not sure I want to go there just yet. But I think Kyushu's got a really nice diversity of places. I've always wanted to go to Nagasaki. Could do that. I have to see how this current series goes, to be honest. The first episode is off to a good start. How many views has it got? I don't normally get caught up on views because it's a slippery slope. It's never good to get caught up on views. 387,000 views. What YouTube does is it shows you this. This is like a ranking, right, of your videos, how they've done and how they've done in the first kind of 1 day, 2 hours. So you can see it's ranked number 5 out of 10. It's a shame it hasn't done better, really. But I suppose what I've found in the past is that people don't always like scary, abandoned, haunted stuff. And I suspect that might put people off. And for the next episode, which revolves around the horrible dish, the bee larvae, and revolves around this kind of creepy place filled with statues, I'm not really sure what angle to go in from. It's a tough one. Do we go with the horrible food or do we go with the statues? And I don't know what to do. But that video, I think the next video is going to struggle with views a little bit as a result. But the third video is going to do really well. And the fourth video is going to do really well. The third video is about onsen. And the fourth video is to do with capsule hotels. And as I've said in the past, if you put a capsule hotel in anything, it always gets silly views. People just love capsule hotels. So I'll be amazed if that doesn't get billions of bloody views. Rob says you should go to Okinawa and do something tropical. That would be nice. I think it all depends on the time of year, doesn't it? I think if we go to Journey Across Japan, the next one, it'll have to be more like in March. So what would be good in March? That's the real question. Okinawa would be cool because of American bases influencing the region. Could be interesting. Do you want to film the old trade road, the old trade route from the Edo era? The Nakasendo Trail, right? Nakasendo Trail. I'd love to do that. I did think about putting an episode in Journey Across Japan about the Nakasendo Trail. And it's this route that goes from Tokyo to, I think, Kyoto, cuts through the mountains, through lots of little beautiful towns. But we didn't have time for that, unfortunately, this time around. But could do that. Could be interesting. Out of curiosity, Chris, if you had to choose another country to take the abroad style to do in a series, what would it be? I would do Taiwan because I fucking love Taiwan and Taipei. Taipei is an amazing city. I think that could be fun. I'd love to do something still in Asia. I think Asia could be fun. And it's quite easy to get to from Japan. So yeah, I'll do Taiwan. And Ryota and I were planning or looking at doing an episode in Taiwan this year, but obviously things happened. So it was on the cards, but it didn't work out. So yeah, Taiwan. If we get the chance to do that next year, that'll be amazing. 2021, get me to Taipei, get me some dumplings. Maybe when you meet Ken Watanabe, you can release that in 6K. I certainly would. 6K Ken Watanabe meeting. Maybe the views will go up tomorrow night, says Jacqueline. I don't know. One of the reasons we released this episode on Thursday is because on Halloween, everybody goes out and does stuff. So it's hard to get a video out and get views. So, but of course, this year, is Halloween really going to be a thing? Don't know. We'll have to see. The first episode is TV quality. So it should do well. It should do well, but unfortunately, as I've found with YouTube, it's not about quality. It's not about quality of the content. It's about the nature of the content, really. And I just, because it's a series videos never do as well either. But We'll see. I'm just happy that the apartment video got 1 million views, because it was kind of a good kickoff before the series got underway. Only thing I'm disappointed about is bloody Cyberpunk 2077 being delayed again. I was looking forward to that because I love Cyberpunk, as we know, and I've been looking forward to that for months, but delayed. But it is coming out in December, and the only thing about Cyberpunk 2077, the video game of the year coming out in November, was I don't think I was going to be able to play it because of all the editing I've got to do. But here's an interesting point. CD Projekt Red, the developers of Cyberpunk, they watch Abroad in Japan, turns out. A few people there on the team watch Abroad in Japan. They've actually got in touch to send me a collector's edition of the game. So thank you to CD Projekt Red. Pretty amazing that they're going to send over that game when it's released sometime in December. And I might even film that. I might actually film like a playthrough of me playing Cyberpunk. I don't normally care to play games and film it, but I'm willing to make an exception for a game as exciting as Cyberpunk, to be honest, and to show my gratitude for the guys at CD Projekt Red for sending over a copy as well. Awesome. We even talked about doing some sort of collaboration. We actually joked about doing something, but I don't really know what we could do. I think they'd seen the Shinjuku nighttime video I made a few months ago, and that I kind of sort of said, look, let's do something like that. Let's tie that into Cyberpunk. But I think they're quite busy at the moment to work that out. But yeah, looking forward to playing it though. It should be a bloody good game, and that is like the one thing keeping me motivated, keeping me going towards the end of the year, powering through all the editing that I've got to do. Patreon Chris plays Cyberpunk. Time for Chris to make a Twitch and stream. I'm not going to make a Twitch. I still don't really like Twitch. I've yet to really understand how Twitch works. It's more likely I'll film a video like doing a playthrough for an hour, and then I'll put that on the second channel or something like that, and not stream it. Maybe just film it and then edit that. So that'll see how that does. And if it does well, maybe we'll do more. Don't know, but I'd love to do it. I'm so excited about it. Are you saying there could be an Abroad in Japan Easter egg in Cyberpunk? You bet there isn't. I don't think they like me that much. But I'll gladly take a free version of the game, collector's edition. Very awesome. Do you think you'll still be making more cinematic nighttime Tokyo videos? Says CH. I would absolutely love to. I'd love to do something in Osaka, but I am actually going down to Kyoto in December, which somewhere I haven't been down for a long time. And I'm working on a mini documentary. Something interesting, actually. Working on a mini documentary about the renovation of old houses into like apartments for like tourists to stay in, like little hotels and things. And that could be really interesting. I do like Kyoto a lot. I know I slag it off a lot. I know I slate Kyoto regularly because it can be quite touristy and it can ruin it a bit. It's become a victim of its own success, of course. But it is a beautiful city, and I love getting lost in the sort of suburbs of Kyoto. So I'm going to go down there, get some beautiful footage, and see how they've converted these old rundown houses into kind of places, guest houses, people can stay. So that should be quite fun. Are you going to do a whiskey tour, says Brad? I may well do. I'm down in Kyoto for like a whole week. So anything's possible. Speaking of the fish and chip Pringles, we weren't speaking of the fish and chip Pringles. I would rather forget. They were so bad, seriously. If you're going to do fish and chip Pringles, at least make an effort. There's so many interesting things they could have done, but they just took some Pringles, sprayed it with some crappy vinegar, and they thought that was fish and chip Pringles. Dreadful. Speaking of the fish and chip Pringles, have you seen outside Japan? Are there any flavours you've seen outside Japan but not inside Japan that look interesting? No, I'm only acquainted with fish and chip Pringles. Are there any other flavours that are good? Or any other flavours, full stop? Did it really say passport flavour, says Imola? It did say passport flavour. Unfortunately, it didn't have the brand new Brexit passport on the front cover. Yeah, passport. The idea is it's a passport to experiencing the world through the flavours of Pringles. Delicious. They were dreadful. They were really quite bad. What a bizarre start to journey across Japan, sitting in a forgotten, like, scary quarry eating Pringles. What a start to the series. God damn it, I've got something in my eye. Oh, there we go. Man, turns out you can use the Pringles to get into the UK. Who knew? Yes, Pringle passport. Oh man, but what a month! It's a great month. I'm excited for the next few episodes. Like October was good. November is going to be amazing, and of course, all the Journey Across Japan episodes are going to come out week on week. They're a lot easier to edit than Journey Across Japan, the original series, Escape to Fuji, because I kind of thought things through a lot more. Because I wasn't on a bike filming with a GoPro for 2 hours every day, we were a lot more strategic with how we filmed, and there's a much more easy to edit narrative. So I'm really enjoying editing Journey Across Japan this time around, actually, and they'll be out every week. So I think it'll feel like a really good month, November, for Abroad in Japan. Every week, a new episode, and I think it'll be good. I feel like having time to rest each day helped. You know what, though? While we were filming Journey Across Japan Escape to Fuji, there wasn't any rest time. We got up at like 7, had a coffee quickly, started filming, drove across the whole country, filmed a bit more. And by the time we finished each episode and I had to back up 200 gigabytes of footage every day before bed, we'd finish at like 1 a.m. So I only had like 5 or 6 hours sleep. And unfortunately, I do look a bit crap throughout the series. You can watch me get a little bit more disheveled as the series rolls on, a bit like the original series. But it wouldn't be a Journey Across Japan series without hardship and without looking disheveled progressively throughout the series, and also growing facial hair throughout the series as well. What is the video you're most proud of on the whole channel? Bloody hell, that's a tough question. I don't know, really. I quite like... I've made a lot of videos that I'm proud of this year. 2018 was like the best year for Abroad in Japan. We had Natsuki the movie, we had Journey Across Japan, we hit 1 million subscribers. But I think 2020 has been better so far in terms of content. I think we've had some really great videos, from the Why I Don't Watch Japanese TV episode to the bullet train video. Always wanted to make a video on a bullet train. I really like the episode where I talk about teaching English in Japan. It was really nostalgic for me to talk about that, and I think that's probably my most favourite episode in the last kind of year or two. Just me sitting here basically talking about experiences, but it was a really fun time. It was some good memories there, and pretty hilarious looking through the book where all the students had written like goodbye messages to me, but written them in really strange manners. VIP to big. How do we forget about that? VIP to big. Oh man. But yeah, I love that video. So probably that video. Teaching English in Japan. Alev says, what about Fukushima? Yeah, I did like the Fukushima video. The Fukushima video, that was emotional, and I think that's one that I'm kind of most proud of in terms of production quality. Like if I was going to show some people, some professionals, the work that I've done, I think I'd start by sort of showing them the Fukushima video or the tsunami video from this year as well. Yeah. The Maizawa beef episode is a classic, says Tai Tai. Yeah, I love that episode, mainly because of Natsuki inventing phrases like "justice delicious," and the food was good. That was still probably the best Wagyu beef that I've had to date. I was just so bloody good. Natsuki's reaction sold it as well. Last month in the Q&A, you said you were working out more and eating healthier. How's that going? Says Omar. It's not going so well, Omar. When I went on Journey Across Japan, Escape to Fuji, I ate really badly. There's no two ways about it. I didn't eat well at all, and yeah, my weight isn't great, but it's not bad either. You know, it's not beyond repair. And you know what? After this is finished, this live show is finished, I'm going to go and get a McDonald's breakfast, because it's going to be a long day of getting a lot of things done. And all good days start with a McDonald's breakfast. And in fact, at least 2 episodes on Journey Across Japan Mount Fuji, we started off by going to McDonald's and getting McDonald's breakfast. But I didn't put it in the video because I didn't want that to come up too much. I know it would have dominated the comments, just like the Zelda Link debacle from this first episode. Is there any Wagyu beef in Journey Across Japan Escape to Fuji, says Onyx. There is. In episode 3. There's Wagyu beef, of course. Wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be Journey Across. It wouldn't be an Abroad Japan video without any Wagyu beef, would it? I love the videos where you show us different food spots with Natsuki and Ryotaro. Well, I just finished filming a morning market with Ryotaro. We went to a morning market on the outskirts of Sendai, and that went quite well. I don't know when that's coming out though, because it seems a bit hopeless making a video like that's travel based or aimed at people, tourists, when tourists can't come to Japan, right? So I don't know when that video will be out. Maybe more towards February or March next year. Chris, are there any CGI explosions to come? No, there aren't any CGI explosions, unfortunately. Yeah, that's a shame, isn't it? How did we miss that? Do you have the award for being missile awareness guy on your wall yet? Says Dowd Pride. Ah, yeah, the North Korean missile video from 3 years back. I did get an award, didn't I? But I don't know where it's gone. I think it's in a cupboard somewhere. No offense, but it was a fairly unremarkable looking award. It was pretty depressing. I enjoyed your appearance in Ryotaro's restaurant, says Imma. Yep. Oh god, Ryotaro's restaurant. Feel a bit bad for him. Ryotaro opened this beautiful restaurant, which you can see in his channel, and then the virus happened. I don't think anybody's been going, so that's a shame. Chris, your data must be an insane amount to back up. Yeah, I mean, it was 100 gigabytes per day. And I've got these little, I haven't got one with me now, but I've got these little SD cards, these little kind of SD portable drives. And fucking eye, hang on. It's got something in my eye. It's not much fun to do this. I think it's an eyelash. It's a bloody eyelash. That's better, I think. No, it's not. God damn it. But yeah, I've got these little portable hard drives. I like this big, and I can back everything up on. Where is your recording gear? Exactly. I am not a YouTuber this morning. There's no camera in the background. We know that all YouTubers need to have a camera in the background at all times. I've broken the rules of YouTube. Shocking. Shocking. Well, I'm going to wrap things up now, guys, though. A long day ahead. Got to get the Patreon behind-the-scenes footage done. Any final questions before I go? Get that. I'm going to get that McDonald's breakfast. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get a mega muffin and some coffee. Don't you worry. I'm sure you've owned up to your Zelda mistakes, says Onyx. I'm sure it'll be forgiven eventually. I bloody hope so. I have to ban. You can ban words on YouTube, right? You can ban certain words, and to ban the word Zelda now, just so that never comes up again. Have a killer day, Chris, and edit hard. Thank you, Peter. I will. Thank you for the Q&A, Chris. Really happy to have started being a Patreon member. Looking forward to future content. And yes, thank you to all of you new guys, the new guys here on Journey Across on Patreon. Journey Across Patreon. Thank you to everyone that's joined recently. We've had quite a big surge in new members. I think we've had 100 people this week alone, which is great. Clearly, Journey Across Japan was a good move there. And, you know, Journey Across Japan wouldn't be possible without Patreon. It was a pretty expensive series to produce, and it was pretty difficult. But as you can see, I think it's been worth it. And as you'll find out throughout the series, it was one of the best things we've done this year. Enjoy the mega muffin, says Brian. Thank you, Brian. I will. And the hash browns. Yep, they have hash browns. Don't worry, Liz. They do have them. Thank you, Chris, for answering my questions. Very interesting with the technical aspects for Abroad Japan. No worries. I find when I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos, I want to know more about the technical aspects as well. But people often YouTubers don't talk about what cameras they used or what they did. So happy to share my secrets, my production secrets. But it is basically just an S1H and a Mavic Pro 2. Thank you, guys. Stay hydrated, Chris. Thank you for the session. I'll stay hydrated with coffee. Lots of coffee. And, of course, have yourselves a good Halloween. I was going to show you that, but you can't really see Natsuki's face. It needs something hot in it to show up Natsuki's face. You can see it's a little bit Halloween-like, isn't it? But the next episode of Journey Across Japan will be out on, I think, it'll be out in 5 or 6 days. I don't know. I think it'll be out next Thursday. So keep an eye out, guys. The next live show will be in about 3 or 4 weeks, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. And we've got a long and exciting month ahead. But for now, I'm going to go and wash out my eye before I lose my sight in my left eye. That'll be a great start to the day. Falling over in fucking McDonald's and rolling around on the floor because my eye's stuffed. Crikey. Will it be Thursday every week, says Onyx? It won't be Thursday every week. It'll be on a case-by-case basis. And I can, yeah, it'll be good. I don't know what happened with my eye. What's wrong with my eye? God. Right, guys, have a good weekend. Enjoy what's left of it. Go and check out the Trash Taste episode and go and watch Norm's video in a tunnel. That's what I'm going to do. Let's see how he gets on in that tunnel. Have a good one, guys. Oh, and keep an eye out for the behind-the-scenes Patreon footage coming soon in the next day or two. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. It's going to be filled with quarries, and you're going to see lots of crazy short films that would have been if we hadn't seen that Love Hotel. So enjoy. Have a good one. Bye.